Kaytranada is a producer who champions the underground and has had quite a few influences over the years and rose to fame over consistently putting up quality sonic projects on SoundCloud. He's worked with Sir, Mick Jenkins, Masego, Goldlink, Tinashe, Pharrell, and the list goes on and on. Bubba and 99.9% are some of the most original albums I've ever heard. So that I benefit you guys, this video will look more at the approach Kaytranada has had ever since he started making music. I feel like that will be more valuable to you than just a review or breakdown of the projects he's done so far, although that's not out of the question. In his 2014 interview with Clash, he said, "My mum can learn to make beats. You gotta bring your own funk, your own originality. Look, people love the bass lines I do, up-tempo, neo-soul. Nobody thought about doing that, and that's what I'm focusing on right now." And that was in 2014, keep in mind. He also stated in this interview, paying homage to the greats, "I listen to a lot of J-Lib, Dilla and Madlib. They don't give a damn, it's all about wordplay and how funky the flow is." To me, this showed how from an early age, Kay could comprehend subtle techniques from his heroes that he could learn from. He didn't just listen. He was consistently taking deep dives and trying to understand the bodies of work rather than just trying to vibe to it. Actually, in regards to his influences, he tends to hone in on what they do so well. He stated that the Neptunes do hip-hop on Clones, but there's also punk rock present on the project, that there's randomness, and that's what he personally defines as a classic, that flexibility to move on to any genre and give your own spin on it. The same way that Madlib can make a jazz-based mashup album, but also the fact that he can do a house album. It's having confidence in innate skills that Kaytranada focuses on rather than try to pigeonhole himself into a genre. And that's why his music can't really be pigeonholed, because that's the basis of how he works. He stated his overall influences stem from using older music as an education. He likes to look back and discover rare Motown artists, for example, or what people were dancing to in the 80s, or checking out music internationally, such as from Brazil. The lesson here is that gems can be found in the most unexpected places. For example, Afro House and French electronic pioneers Justice is what led him to be more gritty with glitches in his tracks. His bass-heavy bootleg adaptations back in the day around 2012 is what really propelled him early on in his career. Remixes of Janet Jackson's If in 2012 and then Be Your Girl by Tadra Moses in 2013 is what pushed his sound out into the world, and the world gave back. And this led him to DJ for a long time, all the way up to 2015. And even when he signed to XL in 2014, they insisted he keep touring to push momentum. But in 2015, he stopped touring outright to focus on recording. And look, when Madonna asks you to be her opening tour DJ and Janet Jackson herself reaches out, it is difficult to say no, and that part of his life is definitely understandable. He judges his music by groove as he makes it and how he feels innately, but most importantly, he says he needs to have fun while making a beat. And that has always been a great indicator, to him anyway, of how his work turns out in the end. The theme here is that what energy you put into a body of work is often the energy that anyone, aka the audience, can feel when they experience it. They can feel the love that you put in. The fact that he doesn't pay attention to whether he's being consistent in his own sound or what he's putting out or not is testament to how he focuses on the process, as I've already mentioned. He looks at the past to understand what has been, he takes their strengths and then he uses it to develop and invest in himself. The current musical landscape is not something he hyper-analyzes because it brings him no benefit to his own development, and that's also a key point. Distractions are more often than not a vice rather than a chance to learn. Scenery, films, scenarios, memories are just some of the things outside of music that lead him to a brainstorming process of, I wonder what that visual or memory sounds like. It's taking from the world around and not just being tunnel visioned into your own industry. That's also given him inspiration in times of writer's block. To do a score for a film, for example, is actually a dream of his. Kaytranada overall then has a bright future, but also paves the way for other individuals to say, hey look, my individual sound doesn't have to drag me down, but I can convince others of my value by honing my craft and being original in my skill. In an era of saturated media outlets, Kaytranada has come out and shown that being humble, devoted to the process, and constantly tweaking your approach can certainly pay dividends.